Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the podcast for the evening. It is 8 p.m. in my home state of North Carolina, which is on the East Coast. So, tonight we're going to talk more about collocations as we will for the remainder of the month. I'm getting my notes. In tonight's collocations, let's remember what collocations are. Collocations are a unique way to bring words together in chunks. When we put words together in chunks, it speeds up the way that a English speaker speaks. Sometimes, as I said, when a non-native English speaker speaks of these collocations, there is something that's a little off. It doesn't seem natural. It could be the pauses, or it could be the position of the words that they're using. Whatever the case is, the more you hear the collocations, the more you use the collocations, the easier it will be for you to sound natural. Oftentimes, students will collect bits and pieces of information, but I want to assure you that bits and pieces of information is good, but nothing is better than having something at the cellular level where when the opportunity comes and you pull these collocations out, that they are as natural as eating apple pie or drinking water, those things. So tonight we're going to talk about eating. So I think that this is a very good segue. We're talking about collocations associated to eating. Here is the first one. My mother radically changed eating habits a few years ago. Let me not forget to say thank you so much for joining me on Facebook, those of you that are watching live, and those of you that will watch the replay. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Dr. Priscilla, a native English speaker, and I live in the US. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, I too want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being live with me and interacting. If you are going to watch the replay, thank you for watching the replay. And just let me know where you're watching from, whether you're watching me live now or if you decide that you're going to watch the replay. Let me know where you're watching from. I know oftentimes, and it is perfectly fine, that there are observers and you're here perhaps to listen to my voice, to get the sound of my voice of how I might say certain things. If there is something specific that you would like for me to focus on as you interact and participate with me, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the section on the YouTube or leave a text chat on the Facebook. Either way, I always enjoy listening to you and hearing your voice by written text. And if you like, every day at 1 p.m., you can join me live using the link that is posted in most of the videos. As a matter of fact, I will post it on this video at the end of this live stream. So if you'd like to join me daily live and interact with me, you may click the link that will be in the video with the instructions and join me live as well. So with that said, let us go back into our collocations for eating. My mother radically changed eating habits a few years ago. Eating habits is the word that we're focusing on. In the past, she ate a lot of junk food. What is junk food? Junk food is that food that is not necessarily nutritious, nor is it healthy. And this will lead to obesity, or it will lead to someone being overweight. Sometimes my mother would try to go on a diet. What exactly is a diet? A diet when you decide that you would eat less and healthier and better food. But it would never last. She would decide to go on a diet, and she made an attempt to eat better. No, this is not my mother, and it's not necessarily your mother. I'm just giving you an example of how to think about the phrase, the collocation, go on a diet. Now, when you are trained or have been coached or taught about unhealthy foods, such as processed foods, and I'll tell you, I love, love processed foods because they are quick. I know that they're not healthy, but processed foods are quick. You just take it out of the fridge, pop it into the microwave, and in 10 or 15 minutes, bon appetit, bon appetit, dinner is served. One of the things about processed foods is that they are full of food additives. And what are food additives? Food additives are chemicals added to your food. And this contributes to weight problems and, yes, heart problems as well. So you want to be aware of what additives do to the foods. So even though I eat a lot of processed foods, at least once a week, I try to make sure that I'm getting a healthy meal. I could do better, but I don't. Hello, Michael. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and happy Sunday. Now, on with my story about my mother. Again, I'm not talking about my mother. It's just the story as it is being laid out to you for understanding. Nowadays, my mother eats a balanced diet, and it includes a lot of nourishing meals. Why is she using the phrase nourishing? Remember earlier, she was eating fast foods, foods that were processed. And I said that processed foods are not nourishing. They have a lot of additives in them. But nutritious foods are healthy, and they're good for the body, and good for the heart. Hello, Francisca. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm happy to see you tonight. My mother no longer buys organic food. Why is it? Why is it that she doesn't buy organic food now? She doesn't buy organic food because she thinks the prices, for one, are outrageous, but she does stock up on fresh produce. Fresh produce is another collocated word that maybe the non-native English speaker would not use, but it's the way of chunking. Fresh produce says a lot. If I'm going to the store to buy apples, oranges, peaches, pears, tomatoes, if I say that I'm going to go to the store or to the market to get fresh produce, I immediately know that nothing that is going to come into the house is going to be processed. Everything is going to be fresh produce. So now when she wants to grab a quick snack, instead of reaching for the chips, she reaches for an apple or an orange that is fresh. This is fresh produce. And she can eat that quickly as you would a snack to curb that hunger that you might experience. She also learned the benefit of eating in moderation. I think many people will benefit from eating in moderation. So see if you can grasp the idea of eating in moderation. Even if you are hungry, you're just extremely hungry. One way to ward off eating too much is to chew slowly. Chew your food a little slower and just enjoy the texture of whatever it is that is in your mouth. Think about what you're doing. Eat it with the intentionality of just curbing that desire. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is portion sizes. There is a school of thought that says if you get a plate that is proportioned off, you typically see this with small children or in the cafeteria. There's a plate that is sectioned off. And in this section, you just put a dollop of this, a dollop of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. You don't just get a platter and put as much as you want on the platter. and then return to the table with your boatload of food. Restaurants, for example, where you go and you can eat as much as you want for a particular price. You can eat as much as you want, get as many plates as you want. I think that that is one of the greatest sins for the American people. Am I guilty of doing it? Yes, I am. But the thing that I put on my plate is not necessarily the foods that most people are eating. Mine is the dessert. I am a glutton for dessert. And to my defense, I think it is okay. Why is it okay? It is okay because I don't buy desserts typically or normally for my home. If you come to my home, there will be nothing sweet here to eat. And the reason I do this is because I know my weakness. If I buy a cake, I'm going to eat the entire cake myself. Maybe in 2 sittings, I'm going to eat the cake. If I buy a pie, I'm going to eat the pie myself. And I know that this isn't good for me. Therefore, when I go out, if there's dessert that I like and it's pretty, I will indulge, but I don't do that very often. So I'm very cautious and careful about portion sizes as it relates to desserts. Or am I? Let me think about it. But at any rate, here are our words for collocations today. And those words are eating habits, junk food, go on a diet, processed foods, food additives, balanced diet, nourishing meals, organic food, fresh produce, quick snack, portion sizes. Now, for those of you that will watch the replay, let me hear from you. Which one of these collocations will you try to use in the upcoming weeks? If you're not sure how I use the collocation, or if you'd like for me to explain more about the collocation, just leave a comment in the section below, and I'll be sure to address that. As I said, I'm here for about 20 minutes. And what I want to do is just to leave, especially my non-native English speakers or English language learners, the opportunity to hear my voice, to hear what English should sound like. Even if I make mistakes when I'm speaking, I am forgiven. What we want to strive for is fluency and fluidity. When we can do that and enunciate our words clearly, the world is yours. Unlike the ease that English speakers find when we're using collocations, as an English language learner, you too can learn collocations, but you have to embrace the idea that first, I must learn the scenario, the situations where I might use them. Until that time, continue to speak with fluidity in the way that you know is correct and without struggle. The more you involve yourself and spend time with the English language by reading books, magazines, watching TV, or listening to podcasts, the easier and better it will be for you to use some of the phrases that you hear me say. Now, every day for the month of February at 1 p.m., I host a live conversational English session for those who wish to get opportunities or have opportunities to practice their speaking of English. There is also a Telegram group that you can join, and all of these things are absolutely free in terms of money. You will need to invest your time, and you will need to invest patience, because as the group grows, more and more people are finding that they're learning more just by interacting with others, not necessarily native English speakers, but people who are speaking English. It is not set up for you to compare yourself to how well you're speaking in comparison to someone else, but to see how much one person can help another person just by providing an opportunity to answer a question that you as a non-native English speaker might ask and listen to their response. In retrospect, I'm learning more too. So let me tell you what I learned today from one of my non-native English speakers from, where was this? Guinea-Bissau. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it quite correct, but it was Guinea-Bissau. And I was surprised to know, and Guinea-Bissau is in Africa. And if any of you have heard me say, when we were learning about the continents and the countries, Africa was just one country. In my head and in the book, it did say that Africa is a continent, but it wasn't really presented to us in learning that there are so many countries within the continent of Africa. So I'm learning about Guinea-Bissau, and there was a coup there 2 or 3 days ago. So I am paying attention to my students. I want to know as much about your culture. Well, not maybe not as much as you want to know about mine, but I do want to know about your culture. And when I was watching on YouTube, it is a beautiful, beautiful area. It has lots of beautiful places that one might want to visit. But what I found most interesting is that they speak Portuguese, of all the languages that one could think of. So my student was telling me that, what is this man's name that supposedly discovered America? See, it's a brain fog, but it's okay. Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus discovered Guinea-Bissau. How interesting. And of course, Christopher Columbus spoke Portuguese. So I thought that was an interesting fact. So I learn, my students learn, and we learn together. So join me tomorrow and the days after for the month of February if you have time to interact with myself and other language learners of English. I'm Dr. Priscilla. I am a native English speaker. I live in the United States, and I love doing my live streams on YouTube. I value each of you. Francisca, thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who are on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me as well. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed being here as much as I have enjoyed presenting. Until my next live stream, which will be tomorrow at the same time, enjoy your evening. Bye, Facebook. Bye, YouTube. Thanks for joining.